What's up, guys? In this lesson, I'm going to go through naming conventions and organization. I'm a big believer that the clarity that you are seeking within your media buying, within your ad accounts, and just overall in general of what exactly is working and not working starts here at the root of setup and organization. It's not the sexiest topic in the world, but the naming convention system that I'm going to teach you is what's going to allow you to have that clarity in the future when you are able to recall what exactly is working and what exactly is not working. Because once we implement that ad variable isolation philosophy into the accounts with this organizational system, you will have that clarity that you're really looking for. So let's first start with the campaign level. Some of this are things that you're probably familiar with. You know, if you've been running ads for a while, you probably, I would hope, label your campaigns top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel. But where we're going to take this a step deeper is starting with the 4-phase framework that we teach here within CTM and that you'll begin adapting into your account, whether that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or even TikTok. We use a very similar structure on all 3 paid social channels. And so now you're familiar with phase 1 message testing. This is where you're running your 10 headline tests or your 10 hook tests with one ad creative as the constant in the test. Phase 2 is where you are running your creative testing for conversion. This is where you are testing some elements that came from your phase 1 testing campaign and finding out whether these ads can be potential winning hero ads. Phase 3, of course, is your audience testing campaign. This is where you are testing new, unproven audiences against only proven copy, proven creative, proven hook, proven headline, proven offer. Phase 4, of course, is your scaling campaign where you're taking the best of everything and allowing Facebook to optimize at your 50 conversions a week at higher budgets. The one area that I also want to touch on here is what we call the staging campaign. Now, your staging campaign is always going to be off. This is where you're actually going to build your ads. So this is where you're going to, for example, have one ad with your 4 variations of copy, and you're going to grab those post IDs and move them into your phase 2 creative testing campaign so that when you go to scale those ads later on, you don't have any difficulty finding out where the original ad was at. And this is what will allow you to very easily stack that social proof on an ad across a variety of different audiences by using that original post ID. So we'll go through that further. That's the staging campaign. And that'll make a little bit more sense once we look at the ad set naming conventions and the ad naming conventions. Obviously, middle funnel remarketing with your social engagers and your website visitor audiences, your bottom of funnel remarketing with your add to carts, initiate checkouts, for example, and your bottom funnel cross sell. If you're running e-com, you know, your purchase 180, your customer list, things like that. So you'll see on the right-hand side, this is a screenshot from an account that we run here on the agency side of the business and consistent with those naming conventions that you'll see there. All right, cool. Now let's skip over to the ad set level. Now at the ad set level, what we really strongly recommend that you do is you incorporate this naming convention system for each of the individual creative tests that you are running. What we do is we use starting at 1001, 1002, 1003, and these are all of your individual creative tests. Now remember, with ad variable isolation methodology, 1001, for example, is going to be the actual image or the video. Once we look at the next slide, we'll look at how we delineate the difference between the copy and the headlines, for example, in that actual testing setup. So that number, like for example, 1001 is going to correspond to the image or the video that you are testing. So later, when you're sort of recalling back, like, which was that winning ad again? Or like which element of the winning ad was actually working? You're not digging through this messy sort of naming convention system. It's super consistent. And you'll see on the right here, this is from a phase 2 testing campaign where, you know, 1077, 1081, 1080, and 1082 were all tested against our top performing audience. So we've had multiple top performing audiences with this account in general. This was a pretty high spending account. So we were running a lot of our best audiences in our phase 2 testing campaign. And you'll see that here, in the setup. Now let's go down to the ad level. So at the ad level, you really have two different options here. You can use an additional number, or you can delineate the ad copy by the letter. So you'll see here on the right-hand side, 1097 with ad copy 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the only difference within this setup with ad variable isolation is the fact that the actual hook to the ad copy is very different here, in this actual setup. That's the only difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same image, same headline. The only difference is the actual hook. And remember, the hook is the initial thing that grabs the attention of the user, right? And so if that person is in a different life stage or a different life cycle within their business, whether it's B2B or e-com that you're running, that hook is going to resonate through message-driven targeting, much different from person A versus person B, right? And so when you're running these really large, broad audiences in your testing, let's say, for example, a 10% purchase audience, somebody within that audience might want to lose weight, while as the other person might just want to gain muscle, right? And so if you're writing those hooks differently between, their desired end state that they're really looking for, the key to most copywriting is discussing the transformation, right? And so we know that customer is in that 10% purchase audience, right? Because that's how we were able to create that audience. And so that copy there is what's going to show you specifically and with 100% clarity what is the actual angle that is working. And as you continue to dial in your winning ad formula, you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into this winning concept around, let's say in this example, that I just mentioned, around, they want to gain strength or they want to gain muscle. So then you can start writing 8 different promise headlines around this aspect of desired result of gaining muscle or getting stronger, for example. And so remember, the number or the letter for the dash after 1001, for example, corresponds to the copy or headline variation that is in testing. This is true ad variable isolation for 100% clarity. And there will for sure be a very clear winner from this test between 1097, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so remember, if you think back to the 7 keys to winning ad creative testing, you're looking at your early kill metrics, right? And so, at this point, you are giving this creative, let's say you worked up this brand new creative 1097 that you're super proud of, you really think that it'll work. But for whatever reason, you're giving this ad 4 different chances to prove to you whether it can be a winner or not, right? In this example, we are running 4 variations. Typically, we will run anywhere from 3 to 5 variations. I typically don't recommend more than that because usually it's going to be a daily ad set budget limitation. So going further into this is when you're testing out this 1097 creative, now let's say that 1097-2 is the clear winner after you're running your test. You're not spending money at scale on ads 1, 3, or 4. You are only moving 1097-2 into your scaling campaign. And then you're taking those insights from 1097-2 back into your creative production. You're now writing variations of hooks and headlines that are similar to 1097-2, carrying that back into either a phase 1 or a phase 2 testing campaign. And then the cycle continues, right? And this is how you start winning. This is how you start creating stability within the account, because you know with 100% certainty what exactly is working within your ad and why. And so hopefully this was a good explanation for you around the naming conventions. We will absolutely be discussing this further within Mastery in Done With You. And I highly recommend that you adapt this setup and definition structure into your account and into all of your accounts, because it'll really allow you to see what exactly is working and why with a lot more clarity.